nothing at all. BBC Radio Lincolnshire on 94.9 FM. We're going across to Boston in just a moment to the Fenside Community Centre. Before that, though, imagine the scenario. You're out of work, you apply for job after job, and the answer is always no. If that sounded familiar to you, hopefully we've got some hope for you this morning, because that's what happened to my next guest. Robert Green is from Spalding. He spent a year out of work despite having qualifications and experience, and Robert's with me now. Morning to you, Robert.
Good morning.
Tell me what sort of experience and what qualifications you had, and it still meant that you couldn't get a job. What did you train to do?
I did 2.5 years in a kitchen previous as a chef de partie. And I had all my hygiene level 2 certificates and that, and I did extra courses through the job centre to get more certificates, but still no good.
And what was happening? Were you applying for lots of jobs? How did it work?
Yeah, I was applying. I had an interview at an Italian restaurant and other places, but just getting anything back.
And how frustrating was all of that?
Yeah, very. It was putting a lot of pressure on me and my fiance's relationship, and I ended up gaining weight because of it, and yeah, it really put me down.
And the frustrating thing is, I get so many people calling into this programme and they'll say, oh yeah, people out of work, they don't want to work. You desperately wanted a job, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I used to think that myself, but as soon as you do lose your job, you realise how hard it really is, and there's nothing I wanted more than to be earning my own money again.
And what was the situation in regards to losing your job then, Robert? How did that come about?
My son was born 10 weeks premature, so I was working at a farm at the time in the middle of the summer, and it was basically he needed me there and then, and my son stopped breathing 3 times, so my priority was to go see him.
So you had to have time off work to do that, and ultimately that meant that they couldn't hold your job for you?
Yeah, that's correct.
And what sort of work were you doing on the farm? Was it general labouring? Was it to do with crops? What were you doing?
Yeah, labouring, doing all the crops and everything, so quite busy.
And then, at that time, had you always wanted to work in the restaurant, in kitchens, in those sorts of things?
Yes, I really enjoyed my job, my last job at Gosbert and Rysgate, but the hours wasn't there, so obviously with 2 small kids, I needed more time, so I moved on to the farm with hope of later getting back into kitchen work.
And how old are the boys now?
1 and 2.
1 and 2, very young then, aren't they?
Yeah, very.
And do they need demand a lot of attention at the moment as well?
Yeah, they keep my partner on the toes, that's for sure.
I bet they do. So work-wise, you'd be applying for jobs. I mean, how many jobs do you think you applied for?
I must be close to 100 easily.
100 jobs?
Yeah, I was sending out CVs every day and applying for the same job 2 or 3 times. It got that desperate. I even tried at McDonald's and got knocked back there. So. And
what sort of response were you getting? Were you just getting yes but no thank you sort of, or did people sort of give you any feedback as to why they weren't able to offer you the job?
No, they said I was very confident and the qualifications were there, but they just didn't get back to me and never really gave me that chance.
How old are you, Robert?
23.
23. Okay, wanting to work, and this was the response you're getting. Having had rejection letters, perhaps up to 100 rejection letters, did you ever get to the point of thinking, well, I'm not going to bother now, I'll go and claim benefits and I won't bother looking for a job?
No, to be honest, I never felt like that. I like getting out of the house, earning my own money, providing for my family. I couldn't sit at home, so no matter how depressing it got, I still kept trying, and that's where A4E really helped me.
So tell me about this then, A4E, and this is a government-backed scheme, isn't it?
Yes, a government-funded scheme. It's when you've been on the job centre for a certain amount of time, you go across to A4E and they help you with interview techniques, and they sit down with you for an hour and focus just on you and getting you jobs, and it's really good.
So did they help things? Did they tweak, for example, your CV and those sort of things?
Yeah, I sat down for an hour and my CV looked totally different after it. Just the layout and general things like I play football on a Sunday morning and captain, and put in that I'm a leader there on the CV and stuff like that.
I think sometimes people forget that, you know. We think about, when you're applying for a job, we think about what we do at work and what our work experience has been, and we forget all of the other things, all the other skills that we have. And you raise a very interesting point there. If you've been captain of a football team,
yep,
then you show some sort of leadership skills there, don't you?
Yeah, and also I've done a couple of half marathons for charity, and they told me to put that on as well.
Well, it means that the person you're applying against, say 2 people are applying for that job, you've put more in your CV, you've put more in your covering letter, and somebody looks at it and says, actually, there's something a bit more about this person, let's get him in for an interview.
Yeah, definitely.
Because all a letter and all a CV is, it's really giving you an introduction to somebody to then go to the next stage. So how did you find interviews? I mean, we all find interviews nerve-wracking, but how did you find them when you were going for interviews?
Yeah, I was nervous, but I've always been quite a confident person, so I put myself across quite well, I believe. And
what happened? Because you have now got a job, haven't you?
Yep, I've now been employed since the end of May at the Loft Spalding, and it's going brilliant.
Talk me through that. Was there something different about that interview that you went for and the way you'd applied for that job? What was different about it?
I'd say the difference was I didn't even know that job was available because it wasn't on the job centre websites or anything like that. A4E actually have their own set of jobs that's not on other websites. So they applied for this job for me and got me the interview. And then Robert Wright, my mentor at A4E, kept on to the Loft to see where I was with it. So I got a reply, whereas other times I didn't even get a response.
So the interesting thing here, then, picking you up on that is, although you'd been going to the job centre and jobs there that you'd applied for you hadn't got, there were other jobs there, it's just you weren't aware of them.
Yeah, definitely. I was given, A4E helped me a lot. They had lists of jobs that nobody could find.
Well, that I find quite interesting in itself, because surely the job centre should be promoting as many jobs as they possibly can, shouldn't they?
Yeah, you would have thought so.
So you're in this new job now. What sort of things are you doing?
Assistant chef at the minute, so cooking again.
And what sort of things? Do you specialise in certain areas? As an assistant chef, do you have certain jobs that you have to do?
Yeah, I make sure everything goes out all right. I'm like the last man at the kitchen. Everything's got to be perfect. Can't send anything out.
What sort of meals are you preparing?
We do all sorts. At the minute, we've got a turkey special on, turkey baguette with chips and coleslaw for Christmas time and that.
I like the sound of that. I'm liking the sound of that. A turkey baguette, is there some stuffing in there as well?
Yeah, stuffing, cranberry sauce.
Cranberry sauce. Yeah. Oh, I tell you what, that's my favourite, to be honest with you. What difference has it made to you, not just from a financial side, what difference has it made to you getting up and going to work every day now?
Yeah, a lot different. It's the only job I've had where I actually don't mind getting up and going to. I've now joined the gym with my boss, and I've lost 1.5 stone in 2 weeks. So it's not just changing the money side, it's changing my lifestyle, and I don't argue with my fiancée anymore, and we have a lot better time.
1.5 stone you've lost in weight?
Yeah, in 2 weeks, yeah.
Crikey, how on earth have you done that?
My boss is strict on me. Yeah.
I would think he is. Crikey. If you've lost that amount of weight, you've done incredibly well.
Yeah.
And you're coming up to a busy period now, then, over the Christmas period. And I tell you what, it'll also be a very exciting time. But with the boys there, 1 and 2, it's going to be a special time for them as well. Although I'd imagine that they probably still like the wrapper just as much as they do the presents, don't they?
Yeah, my little lad's just getting into it now. He keeps saying Santa and lights, and wow, he really likes it.
Fantastic. Look, Robert, it's lovely to talk to you. I'm really pleased that you've come through this. If people want to know more about A4E, is the information available then from the job centres generally?
Yeah, the job centre you can get all the information from. I mean, it got me, like with the Loft, I went to Fulham Palace. It's the first time I've done anything big like that, because we won a National Beverage Standards Awards, 3 Cup, excellent. So
you've had opportunities here that you'd have never had in the past?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought I'd ever gone to Fulham Palace for an awards ceremony, so...
Brilliant. Well done on that.
Yeah.
Have a lovely Christmas, and I'm pleased you've got yourself a job. Well done.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Cheers, bye.
Robert Green from Spalding, got his qualifications, loved working in the kitchen experience as well, couldn't get a job, applied for about 100-odd jobs, and now he's landed this job from earlier this year through the A4E scheme. Best thing to do, contact your job centre if you'd like to know more about that, and hopefully you'll have some success there as well yourself.